Something just shifted in the Jikook universe, and fans cannot stop talking about it. Because when Jungkook spoke recently, what he didn't say out loud felt louder than any dramatic confession ever could. Across timelines in the US, fans are replaying the same clips, rereading the same translations, and coming to the same conclusion. Jungkook's words, his tone, and his emotional focus all pointed in one direction, and for many fans, that direction was very clear. It began with Jungkook talking calmly about the people around him. He spoke about trust, comfort, and emotional safety. When he mentioned V, the atmosphere stayed warm but neutral. The way he described their bond sounded familiar, almost textbook. Friends who grew up together, shared memories, shared stages, and shared struggles. Nothing more, nothing less. There was no hesitation, no emotional pause, no softness that fans often associate with something deeper. But then the energy shifted. When Jungkook began talking about Jimin, everything changed. His voice softened, his expressions slowed. His words became careful, almost protective. Fans noticed how he lingered longer, how he chose emotional language instead of casual terms. It wasn't loud, but it was intense. And for fans who have followed Jungkook for years, that contrast was impossible to ignore. In fan discussions across the US, many pointed out that Jungkook has always been consistent in one thing. When something matters to him, his body language changes first. His eyes lose their playful edge, his shoulders relax, his voice drops slightly. And during this moment, all of that appeared when Jimin's name entered the conversation. Fans began saying that Jungkook didn't need to deny anything directly. By clearly framing V as a close friend and placing Jimin in a completely different emotional space, he was already drawing a line. To many, it felt like a clarification without confrontation, respectful, calm, but firm. What made this moment even more powerful for Jikook fans was Jungkook's repeated emphasis on emotional permanence. He talked about someone who understands him without words, someone who stays consistent no matter the environment, someone who feels like home. Fans immediately connected these descriptions to years of moments between Jungkook and Jimin that they have watched unfold on stage, behind the scenes, and during live broadcasts. For fans in the US, this didn't feel like a sudden change, it felt like confirmation. Many said it sounded like Jungkook was finally comfortable enough to speak without over-explaining, trusting that those who understand him would read between the lines. Meanwhile, discussions about Jungkook and V took a different tone. Fans were careful, but honest. They emphasized that friendship doesn't mean distance or coldness. Jungkook never dismissed V. Instead, he placed their relationship exactly where it has always seemed to be. Supportive, loyal, playful, but not emotionally intimate, in a romantic sense. And for many, that clarity was refreshing. What stood out most was how Jungkook avoided ambiguity. He didn't blur lines, he didn't mix emotional language when talking about V, he didn't leave room for interpretation there. The interpretation only emerged when Jimin entered the picture, and the emotional weight instantly increased. US-based fans also highlighted how Jungkook spoke about love itself. Not excitement, not fantasy, but commitment, stability. Choosing someone again and again. Fans felt that this wasn't the language of a crush or a temporary bond. It sounded like the language of someone who already knows where his heart belongs. Social media quickly filled with comments saying that Jungkook didn't sound like someone searching for love, he sounded like someone protecting it. As clips circulated, fans began comparing this moment to past interviews, live streams, and behind-the-scenes footage. They noticed a pattern. Jungkook has always been relaxed around V, laughing easily, joking freely. But with Jimin, there has always been something deeper, a quiet attention, a subtle checking in, a sense of emotional awareness that goes beyond friendship. US-based fans also pointed out that Jungkook has matured significantly. The way he speaks now is more intentional, less impulsive, more grounded. That made this moment feel even more serious. To them, this wasn't fan service or playful teasing. It felt like an adult choosing his words carefully because he knows people are listening. Many fans said that if Jungkook wanted to keep things vague, he could have. He has done that before, but this time he didn't. By clearly separating friendship from emotional attachment, he allowed fans to understand him without forcing a headline confession. And that's why this moment resonated so strongly, because it didn't feel like performance, it felt like truth spoken quietly. As reactions grew, some fans expressed relief. Others felt emotional. Some even said they felt protective, as if Jungkook had trusted fans with something deeply personal without fully saying it out loud. That sense of trust strengthened the connection between Jungkook and Jikook supporters even more. In discussions, many emphasized that Jungkook never disrespected anyone. Not V, not the fandom. He simply placed people where they belong in his life. And for Jikook fans, that placement spoke volumes. The way Jungkook described love as something enduring, something chosen, something stable, aligned perfectly with how fans perceive his bond with Jimin. Not flashy, not loud, but constant. Fans also noticed how Jungkook avoided romanticized language when speaking generally, but became more emotionally expressive when referring to personal connection. That shift alone convinced many that his heart was already decided. As conversation continued, more fans began saying that this moment didn't create Jikook, it simply reaffirmed it. For years, fans have watched Jungkook gravitate towards Jimin during moments of stress, uncertainty, and vulnerability. This time, he did it with words instead of actions, and for many, that made it even more powerful. The longer fans analyzed the clip, the clearer the emotional structure became. V exists in Jungkook's world as a trusted friend. Jimin exists as something deeper, something irreplaceable. Not because Jungkook said it directly, but because everything about the way he spoke suggested it. In the US-based fandom especially, this moment has been described as quiet confirmation. No drama, no denial wars, just Jungkook speaking honestly in a way that felt natural to him. And the conversation is far from over. Because the more fans listen, the more they feel that Jungkook wasn't just talking about relationships, he was talking about choice and who he chooses to stand beside. And as fans continue to sit with Jungkook's words, one thing becomes increasingly clear for many in the Jikook community. This moment wasn't about creating conflict. It wasn't about pushing one narrative while tearing down another. It felt like Jungkook simply placing truth where it belongs. Friendship in one space, love in another. And for fans who have followed his journey for years, that distinction felt honest, intentional, and deeply personal. For a long time, fans have debated, analyzed, and questioned. But this time, many feel that Jungkook didn't leave much room for confusion. By speaking the way he did, by choosing calm clarity over dramatic statements, he allowed people to understand him without forcing them to agree. And that level of maturity resonated strongly, especially with fans in the US who value authenticity over spectacle. To many Jikook fans, this felt like Jungkook standing firmly in his truth. Not loudly, not defensively, but confidently. The kind of confidence that comes from knowing what you want and who you choose, without needing validation from anyone else. And when fans connect that confidence to the years of consistency between Jungkook and Jimin, the quiet support, the emotional attunement, the way they seem to gravitate towards each other naturally, it reinforces what many already believed, that Jikook isn't built on moments meant for cameras, but on something steady that exists even when no one is watching. This is why this discussion has resonated so deeply, because it doesn't feel like speculation anymore. It feels like alignment. Words matching actions, tone matching history. For fans, especially those who have supported Jikook for a long time, this moment feels like reassurance. Not that they were right, but that Jungkook is comfortable enough to let people see him as he is. And that kind of openness strengthens trust between artist and fandom. As conversations continue to unfold, one thing remains certain. This wasn't just another clip. It became a turning point in how fans interpret Jungkook's emotional world and the place Jimin holds within it. Now, we want to hear from you. Do you think Jungkook's words made his priorities clear? Did this moment change how you view his relationships, or did it simply confirm what you already felt? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it together. If you're a Jikook supporter who values honest discussion